How to master the landing part of the AIRFLARE, which is the hardest part of the AIRFLARE. Video requested by some of our students. I'm in Bali, Indonesia right now, and I'm gonna show it here. So, the first step is to have a clear and specific way to land the AIRFLARE, even if it's wrong at first. The easiest way to land is this one here. If you spin clockwise, landing on the left hand, with both feet down on the floor like this. Even easier with your hips low, like this. So basically, after you jump from an AIRFLARE, imagine you jump from the right to the left, you land and you fall like this. It's very important to know how you want to fall and not just to fall randomly. So this is the easiest landing for the AIRFLARE. Step number one. Second step, same thing but hips up. So land like this. This is the second step. So once you get comfortable in landing in this position after throwing an AIRFLARE, try to land with your hips up. Then third step, lifting up one leg. In our case, if we spin clockwise, the right leg. If you spin counterclockwise, left leg. Left hand and right leg up in the air like this. Also here, to make it easier, you can land like this with your hips down, but even better if you land like this with your hips up. So this would be the third or fourth step, depending if you land with your hips low first or directly with your hips up. Then, to make it even a little bit more advanced and a little bit more correct, again, landing in this position, but turning the hips towards the left side, so like this, and also turning the foot. As you can see, I'm turning the hips and the foot. And you can also lean the right hand on the floor like this. I'm gonna show it again, all the steps. First step, landing in this position, hips low. Second step, landing in this position, hips high. Third step, landing with the right foot up like this. And then turning like this and leaning the right hand on the floor. After this, you should just try to push a little higher and try to land first with your arm and then with the left leg down on the floor. So basically, you land like this and then you fall in this way here, and you lean the right hand on the floor. And from here, actually, you can repeat the movement and do one more AIRFLARE, starting like this, and doing this movement here. Keep in mind that having a good AIRFLARE landing is not something that comes from one day to the other, but it requires a lot of consistency, a lot of practice, and it comes very gradually. Especially if you have a low AIRFLARE, the angle will get higher and higher with a lot of time and patience. Just work on bouncing your legs and kicking them higher and higher gradually with time. I recommend to both practice the AIRFLARE with rotation, so starting in a regular way like this, but also to practice the AIRFLARE directly from the throwing hand. This is a very good exercise that many people don't do. I don't know why, actually, because it's very, very useful to learn how to kick your legs higher even without any rotation. Most of people can have a good rotation and kick their legs like fast and swinging them fast, but it's very hard to see some AIRFLAREs with a good bounce, with a proper hop. So if you start directly from the right hand and just try to kick your legs up in the air like a hand up, it will be very, very useful to learn how to land high with your hips and with your legs without falling on the ground.